So the first thing we are making are these soft chocolate chip cookies. I am starting off with using a medium-sized bowl. Into that, I am adding in some coconut oil, and then we're going to be adding in some maple syrup along with some coconut sugar, but you can also use date sugar, a touch of vanilla, and then some apple cider vinegar, which really helps the texture of these soft cookies. We're also going to be adding in an egg, but you can definitely use a flax egg or your favorite vegan substitute. We're going to stir that together until all of it is nice and smooth. And then I'm adding in some tapioca flour, but you can also use arrowroot as a substitute, some almond flour full of healthy fats, protein, vitamin E, and then some baking powder to help them rise, and some psyllium husk. If you don't have psyllium, you can also use flax instead. And everything will be listed in the description box as always. And we're just gonna stir that together until our dough is nice and combined. Once it is blended together, I'm adding in some sugar-free, dairy-free chocolate chips, and we're gonna fold that in. Once that is all nice and folded, we are going to put that into the fridge and allow it to chill for about an hour. Afterwards, you can come and shape your cookies. So I am shaping mine into hearts. This is totally optional. You can definitely just make them round, but with Valentine's Day coming up, I thought it would be fun. So all you need to do is push it into the cookie mold and then it will slide out. We're then going to bake them off, and then once they come out, just allow them to cool for a good 10-15 minutes, and you have these wonderfully giant, heart-shaped, soft, pillowy cookies. Guys, this might be my new favorite recipe. Next up, we are making some almond butter cups. So I'm using some coconut oil in a bowl, and I'm adding in some more of those sugar-free, dairy-free chocolate chips. And you're gonna melt that at 30-second intervals in the microwave until it gets nice and smooth. Just be careful to watch it because you don't want it to burn, so make sure you use 30-second intervals. Then for the filling, I am taking some almond butter. I love getting my almond butter at Costco because it is a lot more cost affordable. I always get questions where I get my almond butter and almond flour, and I get a lot of it at Costco because it is totally worth it and you get a lot more for your money. I added in some vanilla and some coconut flour into the almond butter just to make it a little bit thicker so that it's not running out of our almond butter cups. So stir that together until it's nice and combined, and then I'm taking some of my silicone molds. I just got these on Amazon. You can also get them at IKEA. They're pretty easily findable, or some place like Target will also have them as well. I'm doing a couple teaspoons of the melted chocolate with the coconut oil into the base of each of the cups, and then I'm adding in about half a tablespoon into the bottom of each and just gently pressing that down. And we're going to continue doing this for all of them, and then you're going to add in a couple spoonfuls of the chocolate over top once you are done with the almond butter layer. And just keep going through all of them, and then allow them to harden in the freezer for about 20 minutes until they're nice and hard, and then you can pop them out of your silicone mold. And I love these because if you're using a sugar-free chocolate, they're also keto-friendly. They're the perfect little something sweet. And then we are making some strawberry donuts. So I'm gonna start by cutting up some strawberries. You're gonna need 1 cup of strawberries for this. I would suggest using fresh as opposed to frozen, just because frozen will have a lot more liquid in them and your donuts might come out soggy. So we're gonna chop those into little pieces, and then we are going to make the dry. So I'm using some almond flour, some coconut flour, and some baking powder in for the dry ingredients. And then you are going to just stir that together until everything is nice and combined. And then you are going to add in some melted coconut oil, some maple syrup, some vanilla for flavor, 1 egg. Again, you can use a flax egg. Just really make sure to allow it to gel for a good 10-15 minutes so that it's an egg consistency. Then we are going to stir all of that together until it is nice and combined. And then you're gonna take a blender and you're gonna add in some almond milk along with the strawberries, and we are going to gently pulse this a few times so that we have chunks of strawberry still, but the milk also turns kind of like a beautiful pink color. So it's kind of like a more sludge consistency, if I could describe it. So you pop that on, and then as you can see, I pulsed it 3 times with the blender and then added that into my mixture. So it adds some moisture, but we also have the wonderful chunks of strawberry. Then we are going to fold all of that together and just keep stirring it until everything is nice and combined and it's one even kind of mixture. I'm then going to add that into a Ziploc bag because we are going to be piping this into our donut mold. Now, if you don't have a donut mold, you can very easily just use this in a cupcake mold or anything like that. But for the donuts, we are going to pipe it into a bag, cut the end off, and then I'm just squeezing it in so that we get more of an even donut shape. But like I said, if you want to make cupcakes with this instead, you can. It's the same kind of flavor and the same baking time if you are making a normal sized cupcake. You can even do mini muffins if you want, or mini cupcakes. That would be delicious too. So just pipe that into each of your little molds. And again, I got this on Amazon. They're really easy to find and fairly inexpensive. So this one for me made 6 of these more larger size like donuts. And so if you're doing this, you are going to make 6 cupcakes, and if you can double the recipe if you want to make 12, or if you want to make mini muffins as well, all you would need to do is half the baking time. So I would start looking at them after about 5-6 minutes. Once you have cooked your donuts, we're just going to walk over and we are going to pop them out of our mold. This is why I love using a silicone mold, because they really pop out easily. Just make sure you allow them to cool fully. Otherwise, they might come apart. So just allow them to cool for a good 10-15 minutes and then pop them out of your mold. Now you can leave them as is, but I always like to add a little bit of a glaze on top of my donuts. It also makes them prettier. It makes them a little bit extra tasty. So make sure you wait until they are fully cooled before you glaze them. Otherwise, the glaze will kind of run down the sides. So all I did was melt some of the coconut butter. And all you have to do here is melt it down for about 30 seconds at a time, kind of like how we did the chocolate chips. Stir that until it's nice and smooth, and then drizzle it over the top. So drizzling it over the top, and then we're going to pop them in the fridge afterwards for a few minutes just to harden the glaze a little bit. It only takes about 5 minutes for the glaze to harden. Like I said, you can also do chocolate on here if you wanted to melt down some chocolate and drizzle that on the top. Then you would have like a chocolate strawberry combo, which would also be delicious. But I like using a coconut butter as a really quick, unsweetened, easy glaze. I always have coconut butter on hand to kind of add as a frosting or icing on top of things. And then you have your wonderful strawberry donuts. Guys, these are so delicious.